All right, season 3, episode 23. We're coming close to the end of this season. We are doing Wetwired. This is the episode where the dude is seeing everyone as the killer.
Yeah.
And, killing people because he thinks that the guy is like some dictator that was like killing people that he saw on the news.
Yeah.
And this is like subliminal messaging.
Uh-huh.
This one felt very, very repetitive to a degree because we already got this with blood.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
With know, I think no, Steve Railsback is.
But that one with blood, it's the like stuff in the pesticide that's being sprayed, right? That's
it's enacting something, and then there's like a signal in the TV.
This one is that there's a signal.
It's also that, is it not? It's a signal in the TV that's being activated by the chemicals that have been sprayed on them, no?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's the electronics because they're getting the signal from the electronics, but they only see them if they've been exposed to the chemical.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
I didn't think that there was anything to do with the electronics. I thought it was just that they were exposed to the chemical and then they were like hallucinating that the electronics were working incorrectly and like telling them to kill people or whatever. You might be right.
The fact that it's always an electrical
similar.
Device that's telling them, that seems way too coincidental that they wouldn't just see other things. It's always technology.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think that this is fine to have like a repeat. For me, I like this episode.
I would have liked it to have been connected to that episode.
It would have been cool if it was connected.
Like they found it in another area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because I think at this time in the 90s too, like we get a lot of, like fears about like emerging technology and everything.
Sure.
And especially television. I feel like that was a really big thing when I was growing up, is that people were always like thinking that the radio waves and the whatever from television was going to like rot your brain literally, or affect you negatively. But I like the visual effects in this one. I like that when they have the transmitted signal, that they like see things like as a television screen kind of.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously this affects Scully, and so this is probably the best part of the episode because we really get to see her being like very paranoid and irrational, which is not something we normally see Scully acting like.
I mean, we've seen it before.
We have seen it, but like not like
not
this.
To this level.
Not where she's like, like in the last episodes where she was acting differently because of the astrological, stuff or whatever.
There's that, but then there's Ice. She's very paranoid in Ice as well.
That's true, but everybody is paranoid, and for good reason. This is kind of, you're right. It's not the first time that she's acted irrationally, but it's just, we don't see it that often with her. No. I feel like we get more of Mulder acting crazy than we do of Scully. Like this, at least.
Speaking of TVs rotting your brain, Scully cites some, what I consider to be outdated nonsense studies where there's links to violence through watching violent movies and such. I think this is total horseshit. And I don't know. I'd be willing to look at other studies on this, but I don't see any correlation, especially with like video games and whatnot. Like South Korea plays per capita the most violent video games, and they have some of the like least violence in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't see the correlation. I don't see the connection. Do I think it could influence somebody who already has a predisposition?
Yeah.
Yes, but do I think other things would anyway? Yes. So I don't know at what exposure level that you have to be exposed to as somebody with a predisposition, and like what to keep others away from, just to make sure that no one else, that you don't come across the predisposed kid or person or adult. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know how that all plays out, but to me, as someone who has consumed tons of violent video games and movies and whatnot, I have no violent tendencies at all.
Yeah, I think that's very I definitely
outdated.
It's outdated. I don't think it affects everyone the same way for sure, and I think it's an easy thing to blame when there's like larger societal reasons.
Oh, like
why
when you
we
don't
have,
want to blame guns?
Yeah, well, we have violence. So I definitely think it's a cop-out. But it would make sense for her to say this, especially given the time when this, was filmed and everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah. We also find out in this episode that Mulder is red-green colorblind, which is not something that we've ever known. So he can't see red or green, right?
No, he can't, like, differentiate those colors very well.
So they look the same to him.
Yeah, I think
so he
that's how
can't
that
see
works.
red or green. They're just kind of like that blanket. We have a red and green blanket like right here.
I think he would see them.
He would
as,
just
like,
see it as all the same like
color.
gray blotch or something.
I don't know about gray. I don't know what color he would see it as because red is a primary color.
Yeah.
Right. Green is a secondary color. So, which is a mixture of blue and yellow. So it's odd that he would be able to see blue and yellow, but not green, since they're a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Because you have the 3 cones in your eyes that are the primaries, much like the color wheel that we use as hairdressers, and you see all of the colors because of those 3 working in tandem. And the fact that his red is off, but then also his blue and his yellow mixture is off, is odd to me. I don't really understand how that works. How do you see blue and yellow, but you can't see the mixture of the two, but it's your red that you can't see? That color doesn't make sense to me in my head.
Color
as
stuff
a colorist, as a
always
professional colorist, that doesn't
very
make any sense to me.
fascinating to me. Yeah, I think about like dogs and cat vision all the time, with how they don't see the same way that we do. So when obviously there's people that are colorblind, and I'm always like, that's so fascinating. Like they see a different world than I do.
Yeah, dogs have like 2 colors, 2 cones, right?
Yeah.
They don't have.
Dogs can only
they can see blues really heavily.
They can see blues really, really well. Blues and like purples and those kinds of
When
shades.
we were kids, I don't know if you remember this or if this was your generation, but we were told when I was a kid that dogs saw in black and white.
I think that's what I was told too.
Yeah.
I feel like that was something that I remember hearing as a kid too.
Yeah.
But that's been shown not to be the case. And cats are very similar as well. They have different vision, because cats have like, they can see in like low lights and stuff really well. Like they have like vision essentially, and dogs don't have that.
Their eyes, that's what their eyes do.
Yeah,
What about you
super
guys?
cool.
Were you guys told that dogs have black and white vision when you were kids? I remember always, like, when I watched black and white movies, I would always be like, this is what dogs see.
I know.
And it's
They
like,
don't
nope,
see that.
that's
No.
not true.
No.
Anyway, yeah, the world glitching around them was definitely a
Very cool.
thing.
I like that effect.
Always love seeing the lone gunman.
Yes.
This definitely makes me want to watch their show, which I don't know what time period that takes place in, if it's around this season or not. We still didn't watch that video game. I would like to watch some of it so we can talk about it, because it does deal with the stiletto and the black oil in the eyes from my memory. I'd like to see if I'm correct on that. Scully is so paranoid in this, and it shows you too, because it, like, they outright say it in this. Like, they talk about how this plays on your worst fears, and her worst fear is Mulder betraying her.
Oh, it's so sad. Well, because they're like,
They trust each
they
other
trust
with their
each
lives.
other. Yes,
They have
absolutely. Yeah. So if she couldn't trust him, it would just be like,
Her whole world would fall apart. She would die.
I can't trust anyone.
They could literally kill her.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really sad whenever she's like having her breakdown, and when he's trying to be like you gotta trust me, like you're sick, and she's like, you killed Melissa, and like all this stuff. And it's, I mean, it's really good that her mom is there, because her mom's like, you trust me, right? Like, and she does eventually listen to her, which is great.
I love the scenes with Scully and her mom.
I do
like
too.
When she kind of like collapses into her
I
mom
do
and
too.
starts crying.
She's so much more
Vulnerable.
like, she's very vulnerable around her mom, and I do love seeing that side of Scully a lot, because she's a very strong character, and you know, we've seen her break down a couple times around Mulder, but very rarely, you know.
And you know that comes from a place of being a woman in a man's world, right? She
Totally.
has to put
She
on
has
this
to do
like
this,
really
yeah.
strong. This way she wears the shoulder pads
Yes,
and
yeah.
walks very like stiff and like tries to look more intimidating. And so she has to wear that around all the time. And when she gets to finally just be herself,
Yeah.
which I think Scully is a very emotional person inside, she just has to hide it being in the world that
Yeah.
she's decided to go into.
Yeah.
And especially being raised with a military father, I think that's why she's able to slip into it, in and out of it so easy, because she kind of had to be like that with her dad, but was able to be the person that she, I think, truly is with her mom.
Yeah.
So, but she's both. I mean, now at that point, that's part of your character, right? But I love to see Scully like that.
I do too. But yeah,
The last thing I
Right.
would say is that we find out that Mr. X is like a double agent for the smoking man. The smoking or cancer man. He goes back and forth. Now they just basically refer to him as Cancer Man only.
yeah.
So we're just going to go with Cancer Man now. Which is actually funny because of something that happens in the next episode.
Yeah.
But it seems very apparent that he's the one that he's been getting all the information from to like tell to Mulder.
Yeah.
And he has to pretend to this Cancer Man that he's on his side, but he's the one leaking everything to Mulder.
Yep.
But we find out finally he's working for Cancer Man
Yes.
this whole time,
Yep.
but he's double crossing him.
Yay.
But he's somebody who's like, he would triple cross. He
Yeah,
would
I
do
think
anything.
so.
Because he does double cross Mulder in that episode with Monk,
Oh, that's true.
where he
does.
totally freaking
Yeah.
lies to him and takes that guy off to some like off-site freaking prison, like
Yeah.
some Guantanamo Bay for super villains, like something out of Spider-Man or Batman Arkham City or some shit,
Yeah.
or The Raft. Okay, Bean.
That was so cute.
But get this tail out of here.
She's part of it.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't ultimately matter because spoilers, he dies in the next episode.
Unfortunately.
It's the
Super
next
sad.
like 2-part episode.
Yes,
He
yeah.
does somewhere in that in
Yeah.
the second one, I think, in the beginning of season 4. But yeah, he don't last much longer. But yeah, he's been playing both sides. So, all right, we only got one more in this season, and then we get to move on to the 4th season, which I'm excited for since we got the episode Home, which I think a lot of people are gonna click on that one because those are the big episodes, and we usually get a lot more. And I think that's going to be a
great
big one.
episode.
We already watched it.
We did. It was so good.
That's where we stopped.
Yes.
And we're going to go watch Insidious 2, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to go watch some more X-Files 2. So, anyway, did we ask any questions in this one? I always like to pose a question to the audience.
Oh yeah, you did.
Did-
Colorblind.
Colorblind.
Yeah, we asked if they were told.
Oh, the dogs.
The dogs.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you there.
Bye.
Adios.